and salutations! And welcome to Learning the Ropes. Had to do the gimmick, right? So, I'm XLJ, the OG, and welcome on into another, what's going to be a spooktacular episode of Learning the Ropes. Isn't that right, Mr. B-Roll? You didn't see that coming, did you, brother?
No, I didn't. You scared the crap out of me. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, the mask was $1 and you bought it. So thank you, sir.
Yeah.
A little peeling back the curtain. How are y'all doing here on this fine Sunday evening, everybody out there?
Hope
In
everyone out there is getting ready for some spooky season, some
oh yeah,
Halloween, some trick or treating, drinking some pumpkin spice lattes.
or something. You know me. You know my thoughts. You know how I feel about pumpkin spice. But that's neither here nor there. But no, seriously, we do got a very spooky show for you all tonight, as we're going to talk about some of the spookiest moments in the history of wrestling, as well as the wrestlers and matches and so on. But as we always like to do here on Learning the Ropes, we're going to start it off right with a plug-a-palooza. There, I did it right for you this week.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
indeed.
welcome.
All righty. So I better live up to the hype if you're gonna do it right for me.
That's
All
right.
right. So let's start off. What do we have going on with Cole TV?
What don't we have going on with Cole
Oh,
TV this week? My God.
yeah. We normally go all out for Halloween and yeah. So let's just run down the lineup real quick.
Yeah, it's
And
Halloween week on Cole
Mhm,
TV, and we've got a
for
plethora
sure.
of stuff.
So over on Cole TV, Tuesday, we have the Halloween Havoc reaction show. You will not want to miss this man right here's reaction to all this chaos that has ensued from Halloween Havoc. Great show. Wednesday, we have our spooktacular Halloween special. It's one of the
You guys
favorite
are going
things
to
we
love
do.
it.
It's our second one, and we had a blast. It was a lot of fun.
And a lot of work,
Thursday,
too.
Thursday, you can actually catch a replay of this. So, hey, you know what they say: if it's nice, do it twice. So there you go. And then Friday, Chub Life Halloween special.
That's right. Or, I can't stress this enough, card subject to change, folks. I got to tell you,
Right.
I'm going to peel back the curtain here. From pretty much the time I got up this morning to now, I have been balls deep in editing. So, yeah, still working on some things, but yeah, we got a pretty fun lineup planned for Cole TV this week, and we hope you come over and enjoy because it's going to be a pretty awesome week to say the least. And what is up? Good evening, Dad Hat. How are you, good sir?
Yes, indeed. And so if you're here on Cold TV and you don't know what we're talking about, that is our YouTube channel. We have had our YouTube channel for about a year now. We do podcasts, which we call Coldcast, and we do all great sorts of crazy shenanigans on there, as long
Yes.
along with this show as well. This is where we get our wrestling fix out. So here we go. But also, indeed, we do have some merch too, and it's some pretty nice merch. We both have some on. We made up for last week. I have the light baby blue Learning the Rope shirt on. He has the LTR, the beautiful, not copying FTR at all shirt on. It's a beautiful shirt. We highly recommend you go check out Sweet Doll Face Creations. We can get the link in the comments. Links in the bio on the Twitch page. Takes you to the Panda merch, which you can also find self bets merch. You can find uh, us. You can find Polybarrels, tons of other content creators. You can find merch exclusively over there. You're not only supporting us as content creators, but you're supporting a small business. So, boom, boom,
There you go. And boom goes the dynamite.
and boom goes the dynamite. Also, if you have found us here on the Panda Wrestling Company Twitch channel, we invite you to go ahead and follow. Hey, maybe even subscribe. You're like, well, I don't know. Haven't decided yet if you guys are worth the money. Well, we think we are, but also if you have Amazon Prime, which like most everyone does, you can subscribe for free. Seriously, you can Google it. You can always Wikipedia it, and hey, if I can figure out how to do it, you can do it. Link your Amazon Prime to your Twitch, and you can subscribe for free. And last but not least, we are sponsored by a Rootless Coffee, because this is a
Damn!
fine cup of coffee. How you doing today, Ron?
I'm doing good, son.
That is good. Ron is my favorite person in that room right now. Um,
I see how it is, brother.
it's all good. It's all good. All right. And last but not least, we do have to bring our special guest in.
That's right. And we have got an amazing special guest this week because we have got joining us tonight. We have got the Columbo of Wrestle Talk. This man can figure it all out. Well, like I was just thinking the younger audience may not understand that reference. What was that? Who could it be?
Whoa, you think you're gonna have a spooky show without the real Undertaker of TikTok, huh? That's where you think you're going with this, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know I had to come on board. Spooky show, a real Undertaker. Come on now.
That is right.
No, I had to
Irish
show up.
Neep is with us tonight, folks. And thank you so much, sir, for taking time out of your schedule to join us.
Oh yeah, I had to take a break from cluing in all the Bray Wyatt secrets to join you guys. Of course. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we have Detective Neep on the case with us tonight to handle all the spookiness
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah, that's what's up. Happy to be here.
What's up, Husky? How are you tonight, good sir?
What's up, Husky?
So we are going to be talking all things spooky in the history of professional wrestling. There's a ton of spooky moments, wrestlers, matches, and we're going to cover a good majority of them. But I got to start off first and foremost, and I got to ask right off the bat, Neep, what is the earliest like spooky memory you have of wrestling? Like a moment as a child that just like kind of like startled you or scared the crap out of you.
Sure. This is an easy one. It's going back to the Undertaker, buried alive, mankind. Boom. The hand, dude. It was the hand. Scared the hell out of me. Caught me so off guard. That's it. That's why he's the GOAT. That was like the earliest memory I have of Undertaker, and that is why he is the GOAT. And I heard that you were in attendance.
That's actually was going to be mine too. And yes, I was Husky. I was there too, buddy. Yep. I was at Buried
Small
Alive.
world.
I was 10 years old. It was my first wrestling show I ever went to in person.
Wow.
Like my dad had got tickets. It was so awesome. We got 4 tickets, so I got to take 2 of my friends with me. It was like a bidding war at the elementary school for the tickets. Like who's giving me their extra milk or their snacks for lunch. But hey, it was an amazing show, man. Like especially as a 10-year-old kid. And I gotta say, we had the perfect seats because it was like literally like so. The gravesite was like right in front of us, and the rings over here. So we had a perfect view of everything.
That's sick.
Oh my gosh! And then I can remember like when Taker won the match, because a lot of people tend to forget Taker did win that match. Then you have all the heels come out and jump him at the end of it, and they're burying him alive, and then the lights start to flicker there in Market Square Arena, and you're just like, whoa, ooh, and then like like you say, that hand coming up, and I remember like I'll never forget too the thunder that hit the gravestone. Just as a kid, man, I just was like, I was so like like startled but jazzed at the same time. The fact that I was there in person, and I can remember just like not even sleeping that night, and I couldn't wait to get to school the next day and like tell all my friends, and then also watch Monday Night Raw that next night too. So
that was definitely a big moment. And hey, I love the fact that like you and Husky could have like been next to each other in like the concession line and didn't even know it, and look at us now. And what is up, Hambone?
What's up, Hambone?
How you doing tonight?
Got a drip god here.
Yes, very much so. And how appropriate after that amazing like ensemble he was wearing in his TikTok from earlier today. That was
Yeah,
pretty awesome. So,
Taker. Yeah,
yeah.
and like that. The since I do the this day in wrestling history, like just a few days ago,
Yeah,
that was I don't remember how many years, but
a long time.
long
Yeah,
time ago.
But yeah,
crazy.
that it was a pretty awesome moment, and like I say, just being there in person was amazing too. And that was the very first Buried Alive ever that happened. So, and there was a couple more throughout the years too. So,
Did you did you know then, or I'm sure you know now, that you were going to be there for such an iconic moment?
I don't think it really hit me as a kid. It was more so for me. It was just like, oh my god, I'm going to a WWF show.
Sure.
Yes, this is gonna be awesome. And the fact that it was a pay per view just made it all the more sweeter.
Yeah.
So I was spoiled, man, because I mean, and house shows are great too, and I've went to them throughout the years. But for my first show to be like a big pay per view, I was like, oh, this is gonna be sweet. I'll never
Yeah.
forget too. Like I purposely had my dad. I was like, we got to eat at Burger King before because I had to get the Burger King crown because when Jerry Lawler come out, it was just
So
it
you
was a,
wore it? You wore it to the show?
I just wore it when he came out,
Oh,
like when he
okay,
come
okay.
out to like because he was announcing that night.
Yeah.
So yeah, good
That's
times.
cool, man.
It was a great show too, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And we're definitely going to be talking a ton of Undertaker tonight. I mean, because how could we not? I mean,
Right.
the
We
man's
could
got the
literally
vast
just spend the
majority.
whole episode on Taker.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could.
no, you really could. But the one thing I kind of, you know me, Mr. B-roll. I'm a stickler for the origins, histories, and whatnot. And there was a lot of wrestlers from way back when, like that were some pretty spooky characters. And there's a couple of them I kind of want to point out. Now, the first one was actually a guy I remember seeing in a documentary many, many, many years ago on pro wrestling that was on A&E. And it's this guy. I remember seeing a picture of this guy. I was like, oh my God, that guy looks freaky as hell. And a lot of people have compared him to looking like the real life Shrek. It's the French angel Maurice Tillett, who was a wrestler overseas and stuff. And I do believe like he did work here in like the Texas area many, many, many years later. But like if you just Google this guy, man, and you look up a picture of him, you're just like, holy shit, this guy
You know
looks
me.
creepy as hell. Yeah,
You
you're
know
gonna
me
do
and
it.
my Google.
Yeah.
Is it gonna give me nightmares?
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, and that dude's head, yeah, he was huge, as well as like freaking like the ears and stuff. Like, and the first thing you'll see when you see him, dude, you're gonna be like, "Oh, Shrek." Yeah, I get it. I get the
Yeah.
reference now. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
too familiar with them. I know the name and I know what he looks like, but I'm not. You said overseas, so that makes sense why I'm not familiar with a
yeah,
whole lot of his work. But I know the wrestler for sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Another one I want to point out around that time frame too was a guy who I don't think he got as much notoriety as a wrestler, but more so as being an actor in really god awful B movies, and that is Tor Johnson.
Yeah. I knew his
Yeah,
name would pop up here soon.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Tor Johnson was known for like a lot of the Ed Wood movies.
Right.
So, a matter of fact, if you've ever seen the doc or the, I think it came out in '95 or '96, but the movie on Ed Wood starring Johnny Depp,
Johnny
they
Depp.
actually got George the Animal Steel to play Tor Johnson, which he looks a lot like him too, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But like those are some of the really early on trend centers. But I always remember like my like you know how like you've got generational like your grandparents and your parents and they're at some point they've watched wrestling and they're familiar with wrestling and they know like you're into wrestling, they're talking about their past, and I always remember my grandpa telling me about this guy, the original Sheik.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, the Sheik, just like his gimmick, striking fear into the hearts of like all like children and everywhere. I mean, and just his ultra violence, throwing fireballs and doing all sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah.
The Sheik was a badass character. I mean, and in that same vein too, you got to mention Abdullah the Butcher too. Crazy
guy's
man from the
crazy.
Sudan. Oh my God, you could put like quarters in his forehead. Like his,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That dude was a crazy, crazy, crazy cat.
Yeah.
Another one I want to talk about and mention too. What about Ox Baker? the man with the unibrow, pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I remember about him.
Yeah. Well, what I mainly remember about him was like a couple things. Number one, I absolutely love Escape from New York, and he's
Oh,
in
of
that
course.
movie. Yeah, he's in that. Which he does a couple other movies too, as well. Oh, did you look it up,
You
B-roll or
see him?
something?
I've been looking up all of these.
Okay. So you're like, oh, Ox Baker, oh my god.
This is
Yeah.
this is probably the best one
You
yet.
you could share, bro. If you want to share your screen, go right ahead. I'm sure all the people would love to see his lovely mug.
Yeah.
Yeah, let
But
me-
yeah, Ox Baker, man. Like, and I also remember him too from being like in a documentary, one of my probably one of my favorite wrestling movies. I Like to Hurt People. Like, I don't know if you ever saw that.
He was
but,
in
oh
that?
my, well, I'm pretty sure he was. Like, or it could be. No, I'm pretty sure he's in I Like to Hurt People. I don't think he was in Grunt, the wrestling movie.
I'd have to watch it back. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But I just remember like him talking about like how he was going to get like Dusty Rhodes, and always and years later too, cutting promos on Dusty and shit. So
yeah.
yeah, Ox Baker was another freaky guy. The Great Kabuki, coming in world class,
course.
having the mist, blowing the mist, being managed by the deadly Gary Hart. Oh, here we go. Yep, there we
Jeez, that
go.
is a dude right
look
there,
at that.
man.
Look at that stash, and the
God.
master of the heart punch too.
Yeah. That's
Like-
that's a look.
You can't tell me that man does not make you want to crap your pants. I'm just saying. And hearing him talk too was pretty creepy as well.
That guy's
Um,
just man.
Yeah, those eyebrows.
Those eyebrows,
dude.
man. They
Yeah.
they have their own stories.
Another one too from that era. Yep. Are you pulling up Kabuki? Yep.
Kabuki was
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna give people
Kabuki-
context tonight.
Was he one of the originators of the Mist?
I believe
Or
I
the?
believe so. I don't know if he's the one, but I think he's one of the very first guys to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And in that same vein, in that era too, you got to also mention the Missing Link.
Oh yeah.
Could come out, with the crazy hair. Oh, we're getting there, Hambone. We're getting there to the. We also was going to mention the Ugandan giant Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
You got another scary guy of that era there in the 80s.
No doubt.
And of course, in the 90s, and who will forget his memorable feud with The Undertaker? What are you looking at
What do you
now?
got up now? What's up,
What
Gabriel?
the hell are you looking at now?
This missing link.
No, not that missing. Try Missing Link Wrestler.
That
There
is
you
kind of
go.
scary though.
Yeah, there you go. That's the
There.
Missing Link we all know and love.
Creepy. Creepy.
Yeah, his makeup, man, was something else, dude.
Yeah.
And of course, among those
Okay.
lines too, Bruiser Brody, the late great Bruiser
Oh
Brody.
man.
I mean, and that dude was just intimidating as hell. You
Yeah.
know? Yes. And
Such
CDC.
a sad story.
Oh, no kidding. The whole, oh man, how and everything overseas and stuff had happened to him. And it's crazy too. If you watch that Dark Side of the Ring, you find out like how nice of a guy Brody was,
Mm-hmm.
which, and I think everybody kind of had heard that throughout the years too from wrestlers talking about him and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, CDC makes a great point that freaking Ox Baker did look like Ming the Merciless from
Yeah, he
Flash
did.
Gordon.
yeah. Yeah.
But
And Bruiser Brody though, not to cut you off, wasn't he the Taker's first match, right?
he was Taker's first match, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Brody being like the established veteran. Good God, could you imagine that? Like your first match against Bruiser Brody?
Yeah.
Oh man!
And
And the
it did
crazy
go
thing
Taker's
is,
way.
no, it did not. And the crazy thing is all these guys we're talking about on this list, like Bruiser Brody was just like he didn't really have like a necessarily like makeup or gimmick or anything. He was just a badass, and he scared the shit out of you because he's such a badass. But
Yeah.
but Hambone said it himself. Last one I want to talk about here. The devil worshipping man himself, Kevin Sullivan. And I'm not talking Dungeon of Doom, Kevin Sullivan. Oh no. I'm talking Florida air, like working in that territory, Kevin Sullivan. Crazy dude. And I mean, if you think about it too, with like that character and that gimmick, I mean, that gave birth to Luna Vachon, really.
Yeah.
Because
True.
if you look back, Luna was just like like working as a reporter there, and then like she kind of went into that crazy psychotic gimmick because of Kevin Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still that gimmick. Okay, if it tells you like the time-tested gimmick for that guy, for Kevin Sullivan, like people still to this day are conspiracy theorists about the whole Chris Benoit, and like, oh well, it could have been, yeah. I mean, which, hey, we're not touching that with a 10-foot pole, but yeah.
No. No.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good point, Hambone. I actually didn't have him on my list, but yeah, Dr. Luther.
Dr. Luther.
Yeah, because he did. Yeah, his stuff he did in FMW and stuff was pretty spectacular. And yeah, he would scare the shit out of people. Of course, you see him now, and it's like, but it's cool what he's doing. I think in AEW is kind of like a player coach type of deal. My understanding too is I think he's like got a whole like YouTube channel or something, and he goes around and does like a bunch of paranormal shit or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, I think that's kind of like something that's in his wheelhouse. But yeah, Dr. Luther was a pretty cool. And if you watch his stuff from FMW, it is very interesting. Or at least I'm pretty sure it was in FMW. I could be mistaken on that, but I know he worked in Japan. But those are just some of the original like crazy spooky wrestlers.
Yeah.
But and of course, as we're watching it as kids, we grew up in one of the greatest eras, in my opinion, the '80s into the '90s. And Mr. B-roll already busting out the drinks. I see.
No.
I'm gonna need if we're gonna get any spookier, I'm gonna need some liquid courage.
I didn't know we were doing this. I would have gotten a bottle, man.
Well, first one I want to talk about is
What's up,
a
Dad?
mastermind. Oh, what's up, Dad Trainer? I want to talk about Jake the Snake Roberts. Oh my God! Like people talk about him as one of the greatest minds in wrestling. I mean, he really is. And the fact is, like, and people said this many times before, and I'm in agreement. Never raised his voice. Just talked at the same level, and it scared the shit out of you.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about one of his scarier moments as a kid that like startled the shit out of me. That would be right up there with the Undertaker buried alive moment. But we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But Jake the Snake, man, just the psychology, just like the aura around him. And the crazy thing is, too, is it was like, comes in as a bad guy, then they turn him babyface. But he never really truly did anything to show that he was a babyface. It was just people loved him,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just funny. I go back to like the feud he had with the Honky Tonk Man there, and leading up into WrestleMania 3. I mean, really, they were trying to build that kind of as Honky as the babyface and Jake as the heel, but that shit did not work at all.
Yeah.
But Jake's one of my all-time favorites.
Jake's great, man. And like you said, like him being kind of creepy and kind of whatever, like it felt like you said an aura. It just felt like it was so natural to him. Like it just felt like that's where he needed to be placed, and he did it so well.
And I think a lot of people will say too that he tapped into like a lot of the personal stuff that he had going on growing up and stuff.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
But yeah, Jake the Snake's like one of the all-time great wrestling characters, and definitely one of the scarier ones for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Especially if you're scared of snakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Even that too,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because you don't want Damien coming after you or Lucifer. Lucifer's the one that got me. 'Cause Lucifer was the Cobra, I think. Yeah. Like, ooh, fuck that.
Yeah, no thanks.
I'm not big on. I mean, I'm all right with them, but like, no mas, no bueno for me. So talk about. I wouldn't say this character is so much spooky, but just out there, the Ultimate Warrior, just with his nonsensical promos, and of course being from parts unknown and whatnot. Warrior was a different breed. He's definitely, And I think like it was one of those things where he probably like he just got off the whale with his promos, man. That's like the energy, yes, but it's the promos to me that always stuck out for him.
I think the powder was a good was a good kickstart to all that.
Destrucity will bring you into the final battle, and we will collide on planet Uranus. I don't know.
Nothing. Everything he said didn't make sense, but then it made sense.
Yeah,
Like,
I got like
it didn't make sense,
in.
but then you're like, holy shit, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, and speaking of other characters who may have been snorting some white powder, how about Psycho Sid?
Oh God.
Oh my God, man! Like him and WCW when they first brought him in, Sid Vicious and stuff. I think it was really working until like they brought him in WWF, and then they had him Sid Justice, and then they kind of turned him, or really the crowd kind of turned on him, so to speak, and then he got the moniker really Psycho Sid, And then when they brought him back for his second run in the WWF, and like that's when it really like he kind of went just into the psycho, coming out to the psycho music and stuff,
Yeah.
man. We were talking
Yeah.
about that Buried Alive show. Sid was on that card too, and he's wrestling Fader.
Right.
And I'll never forget like when Sid come out, man, and it was just like this was back when he had like his like the SID, like the fireworks and shit.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was the coolest fucking thing in the world.
Yeah,
I
it
like,
was.
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
Sid was cool, man. Sid was cool.
Yeah, I liked Sid for what he was, and definitely very comical with the bloopers too throughout the years as well.
Yeah.
We're live, pal.
Yeah. That is, I watched that back more than I should, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. I tell you another character I really would have loved to have seen get more of a push. It's unfortunate that he didn't, but Waylon Mercy.
Yeah.
Waylon Mercy was
I'm glad
another
you brought
one.
him up. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
And an early predecessor for Bray Wyatt in a sense,
Exactly.
really, of tapping into that, like very much into that Cape Fear, that Robert De Niro character from that
Yeah.
movie. But just lives are gonna be in Waylon
Yeah.
Mercy's hands, and I still question. It's like it's a head scratcher to me. Is like how that did not work out. I think there was some backstage stuff to it. I don't know. I can't remember if Dan Spivey got hurt or if it was just like he just a contract dispute or whatever. But
You know
it's
how
damn-
it is with wrestling, man. A lot of it's stupid backstage politics and shit like that. It's unfortunate for a lot of
Absolutely.
people, but it does happen.
I agree, Hambone. He was way
Yeah.
before his time. It's just a shame that he was only around for a couple months there.
Yeah.
Talking about
he looks
another-
like a freaking cult leader.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Dan Spivey he had trippy eyes too.
Yeah.
He always had trippy eyes. If you looked into his eyes, he just got you're just like, holy shit, okay, I don't want to piss this guy off in line at Starbucks or something,
Yeah.
Not that Dan Spivey would be at a Starbucks, but who knows? Here's another one for you, and like just the name was kind of spooky, but like I never really got scared of him. Damien Demento.
Yeah. The
Damien
name
Dement-
is sick. The name is
name-
cool.
Yeah, he just kind of looked like a guy who just worked at an auto body shop 5 days out of the week, and he wrestled on the weekend and had
Yeah.
the sick goatee and like the pretty much bald except for a little bit of hair on the back,
Yeah.
But Damien Demento, just the name was kind of scary, but the rest of it not so much. But I do want to talk about somebody. Oh,
He kind of looks like a Make-A-Wish version of that guy we pulled up earlier.
Vox Baker,
Vox Baker.
Who was the first guy we pulled up?
Ox Baker. It was Ox
Yeah.
Baker. Yeah, I
Kinda
could
looks
see
like
that.
A Make-A-Wish version.
A Make-A-Wish version of Ox Baker. Somewhere Damien Demento is crying because of that
Crying.
comment. But speaking of
Damien.
crying, I do want to talk about a character. Now, when I first say this, when you hear the name, everybody's going to think of like just a goofy, dumbass character. But I'm talking about the first interpretation of this character, Doink the Clown.
Oh, Jesus.
Creepy as shit when he first came
Googling
into
it.
the Federation to 92, 93. Well, and when he was portrayed by Matt Bourne, that's when Doink was at his best. But like purposely like making kids cry and stuff and just the psychology of it and shit.
You got a thing against clowns?
He hates clowns. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I figured.
I'm holding a snake before I'm going near a clown.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
What's up, wrestling lady? How are you
What's
doing
up,
tonight?
wrestling lady? Hello, Gracie. Alfred, what up?
What is up, Alfred? But yeah, and I agree, Hambone. Hill Doink was fucked up as shit. Just like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
No kidding.
And then when they turned him babyface, it was just like they just chopped his nuts off, man. It's just like, come on, man. Like I would
Yeah.
have liked to have seen that continue on as like heel Doink, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
is
I'm with you. He was pretty terrifying at the beginning.
absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Like, dude, and great wrestler too. I
Yeah,
mean, he
that's
was
what a lot of
great-
people don't
he was-
understand either.
Yeah, he was
Great
a great
wrestler.
wrestler. In ring, psychology, all around.
Agree.
So now I got to talk about some vampires here for a little bit.
Here we
And I
go.
think first vampire comes to mind. We got to talk about Gangrel,
Oh,
or the Vampire Warrior.
yeah.
Yeah, Gangrel, and Gangrel's still going strong to this day.
Same gimmick.
Same
Same
gimmick,
thing.
still in phenomenal shape. Still going strong. Has his own wrestling school that's going great. Just his downfall was he just didn't want to get on the mic. Didn't want to cut
Yeah.
promos. Everybody remembers that first time when they talked to the Brood, and like he was kind of the leader, but then they went to Edge because Gangrel didn't want to talk or whatever, was fumbling his words, and well, the rest they say is history.
Such a cool look, though. He had such a cool look. The fangs and the chalice, he had such a cool look to him.
Yeah, and one of the greatest entrances of all time.
No doubt.
Coming up from the ground, the Brood. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Theme song was a banger. The fire.
I remember having to ask you when they brought him out with the Bucks when they were impersonating the Hardys.
Yes, the whole understanding that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
and then when they did the new Brood, it was just kind of but yeah. No, the original Brood though, chef's kiss.
So good. It was so good.
It was sick. In that same vein, we mentioned this person earlier, but we got to talk about Gangrel's wife, Luna Vachon, as well, man. Just like one of the scariest, not even women, one of the scariest wrestlers, period.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, when she would talk, it was just like, I just don't see how she, didn't scar her vocal cords for life talking like that.
Like a smoker voice.
Yeah. And just having the tattoo on the side of the head and stuff, man. But the crazy thing is, too, I love that dark side of the ring. And if you all haven't seen it, seriously, watch the one on Luna Vachon. Because she was such a sweetheart in real life.
Yeah.
And just loved wrestling. And it's got to be saying something that if you're coming from the Vachon family and you're the scariest person of the bunch, that's saying a ton.
Yeah. No doubt.
Like, holy shit.
No doubt.
I was talking about vampires. Also got to mention, what about Vampiro?
Vampiro.
In WCWM from Mexico, of course. Or as I always like to call him, Vampiro!
Vampiro.
I just remember, the whole Oklahoma, the Ed Ferrara shtick, where he was making fun of Jim Ross. And he had that feud going on with Dr. Death at the time. And just the call and be like, Vampiro! Vampire! That's always stuck with me for some reason. I don't know why. But seriously, a great wrestler, man. I love Vampiro in 99 and 2000 and stuff. Even the stuff, he was the highlight of one of the highlights I liked about the new Blood era, because it wasn't that great of an era. But I mean, it was still cool to see him feud with Sting and stuff, man. I loved his finish, the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I didn't really hear much from him for years, and then Lucha Underground comes around. And he's involved with that. I'm like, oh, sweet. I get to at least see a little bit more of him. But yeah, he was always cool.
Yeah, Vampiro was a badass dude. Yeah. Another vampire. How about Kevin Thorne?
Kevin Thorne.
Yeah.
He never really hit what he could have hit, I feel. You know what I mean?
And he had two chances, too, and another spooky character with Mordecai.
Exactly.
So it's they brought him in as Mordecai, and he was supposed to be the rival of The Undertaker, kind of, so to speak. And that just didn't even get off at all. Yeah. But Kevin Thorne, I feel like the whole vampire gimmick with him, it was more so kind of focused on the girl. What was it? Ariel, I think was her name.
Yeah, the chick. Yeah, the chick with.
Yeah. It was more so kind of focused on her and not so much on Kevin Thorne's what I thought. And I thought one of the weirdest factions was ECW's New Breed. The only thing was they were the newer stars of WECW. But it was just you had a teacher, you had Marquise Corfon, you had a vampire in it, and you had Elijah Burke, and it's just what the hell is this group?
It's someone just threw up, and that's what came out.
Oh, it's here you go.
Yeah.
By the way, you're gonna get Tommy Dreamer's only match at a WrestleMania. Aww. But hey, at least he got a match though.
Yeah, he said he got one. Yep.
We mentioned Luna Vachon earlier. I'd be reminiscent not to mention Bull Nakano. Because Bull Nakano just coming out with the spiked up hair and stuff.
Crazy look.
Just a crazy look. Badass wrestler, too, man. The craziest thing to me about Bull Nakano, y'all seen Bull Nakano lately? Like, she doesn't look like she's a day over 40. She's actually does amateur golfing on, like, she's a golfer. That's her new, like, career.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's just mind-boggling that she went from, being such a great wrestler and still probably it could, well, maybe she couldn't go as well, but still one of the greatest female wrestlers of all time, in
Sure.
my opinion, Bull Nakano.
No doubt.
Now we got to talk about, and Hambone mentioned it earlier, probably the spookiest character, one of the spookiest characters I remember as a child, Papa Shango.
Papa Shango. Ooh.
Ooh,
Oh,
baby.
man. It's
Just
a good one.
him coming out with the smoke and the music, and having like the skulls, and stuff. Oh my god, and just the look, like he was outside of the Godfather, I think that was Charles Wright's greatest character he ever played. Was
Yeah,
Papa
and
Shango.
it's so crazy that he was able to get two characters very over. Very,
Extremely over.
very
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one like Jake the Snake. It just felt so natural. Like it didn't feel forced or anything. It felt so natural. And he just fit that mold perfectly.
Yeah, I always felt bad for him. And I almost wonder if like his career kind of got like stalled because of the fact like he kind of fucked up the WrestleMania 8 main event finish because
Yeah.
he came out way too early and it's like, oh wait a
Yeah.
minute. Yeah, but still a great character that we're still talking about today. And the crazy thing is, Papa Shango was only there for I think like from 92 to 93 pretty much. So really
Yeah.
only a year. And it's like he's still one of the more iconic characters you talk about of that era of the WWF.
Even I knew who he was, so there you go.
There you
Yeah.
And I'm the
Yeah.
newbie.
And you're the,
yeah. Hambo.
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
dude.
How did you know I was going there next, brother?
Oh
I'm
man.
the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
Yes, we have to talk about the Boogeyman.
Oh god.
And when the Boogeyman came into like this is he's in the ruthless aggression era, and it's like at this point those kind of characters aren't as well received, I guess you could say. But the
Sure.
Boogeyman was over with the crowd, man. People liked him.
It's-
I never really got into the character. I thought it was dumb as hell, personally.
You know what's crazy is we covered this last week on our show. He originally wanted to use maggots and cockroaches instead of worms.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Like
but they
real-
wouldn't let him. Like
Wow.
but the arenas wouldn't let him because they didn't want like maggots and all that stuff getting loose. So they had to think of something that would stay in one spot.
Wow.
Crazy.
That is startling just to think of like that he would be that committed to the character to want to use maggots, real maggots.
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
Super creepy.
You're having too much fun with that, aren't you, Mr. B-roll?
Yeah. Yeah.
When he ate that thing off of, was it Jillian? Oh my god!
You guys showed that clip on your show the other day.
and I
or
still
other
can't
night,
watch
yeah.
it. I still
Yeah.
can't watch it.
Yes, that was just the.
It's
Nope.
so gross.
I mean, the worms was bad enough, but yeah, eating the whole growth and that was a stupid fucking storyline too with Jillian Hall, like
Yeah, it
her
was.
having that. It's like really. It was like I feel like they purposely just did that just so they could get to that spot.
I think so.
Just like dumb.
He was whenever he would appear backstage and the red light would hit and then like the kind of eerie music, like he did his job very well.
Yeah.
There you cannot deny the man that. I mean, he's another one who really wasn't there for a ton of time. But
No.
for the fact is, like, he still comes back every now and then, and everybody instantly knows what the gimmick is. They know him. They're like, okay, yeah. And the dude stays in pretty damn good shape too.
Oh,
by
yeah,
the way,
he's ripped.
yeah, he's ripped as hell.
Yeah.
You know why he always comes back?
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
This is for all those war games things, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
I had that coming, yes. And he's gonna come and get me. So no. Hambone made another good point too about gotta talk about Mankind when he first came in. Those promos, how creepy was there being in the boiler room. And I knew of Cactus Jack and stuff, but I gotta admit, even as a kid, I didn't like realize that's who that was until he like debuted, and it was like,
Mm.
oh shit, okay, that's Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
Because just like the promos and stuff, and him rocking back and forth and being
The
in the boiler room,
voice.
the voice,
The
oh my
voice.
god. You know what was super cool about the original Mankind character, and it's still to this day, I believe he is the only wrestler to have the different entrance music and exit music,
Mm.
and that was like something he purposely like came up with too.
Yeah, I wonder if that would go over today, like in today's wrestling, if you could do something like that.
Well, you know who would be the perfect guy to do it? I would go with Bray Wyatt. I mean, I could
Oh
totally see
yeah.
that. It would completely make sense. But if you think about it, like with his character too, it was just like he was starting the match. He was like in a different mindset, and then like the end of the match, after he tortured and incapacitated his opponent, it was just like he was at peace.
Yeah.
Hence, like the beautiful piano playing stuff. So yeah, Mankind was freaking awesome there in
Oh,
'96 and stuff.
no doubt.
Yeah, that music was creepy as shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one I want to talk about, and we're going all the way over to TNA Impact. How about the Monster Abyss?
Abyss, so good.
Abyss was a bad mother trucker.
Love Abyss.
I loved Abyss, man, and just like the whole mask and the whole like his in-ring work was awesome. Just like, and I mean, years later too, what amazed me about him was like when he'd actually like, you know, he had a mouthpiece for years in James Mitchell, and then like when he was kind of doing his own thing, and then when he had the multiple personality thing, like the Joseph Parker shtick and
Yeah.
stuff, doing a complete 180 and a complete different character, and then going back into doing the Monster Abyss. I would have loved to seen an Abyss run in the WWE in like the 2000s. How awesome would
doubt.
that have been? Perfect opponent for like the Undertaker and Kane. I would
Yeah.
have loved to seen that. It's like just take my money now, man.
Yeah, and to speak on him as a person, I got to meet him a few years ago at an indie show. He actually wrestled on the show, and then kind of did some autograph signings and stuff. And just great, cool dude. He sat, he was willing to spend a few minutes with you and answering questions and all that. He wasn't in any kind of rush or anything. And so yeah, just a great dude outside the business, let alone his good work in the business.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that comforts me too, because I feel like he would be that type of person,
Yeah, he was really cool, really cool.
And then I believe he's still working for WWE as a producer, right?
Producer, yeah.
Yeah. So it's awesome that he's got that gig and stuff. And who knows, maybe one day you'll see the Monster Abyss make an appearance on WWE television.
Royal
How
Rumble
crazy
appearance,
would that-
maybe?
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I'd mark the fuck out
Because
if that
it could
happened.
just be brief, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I would totally be into it. Like, I guess
Yeah.
the only way I could see it is they'd have to be in like impacts. Like if they were in Orlando or something,
Orlando.
where it would be more well received. But I'd love to see it.
I think if they were in like a die-hard place, people would pop for them.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Absolutely. And lastly, we got to talk about Sting. It's Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sting, man, and of course talking about like Sting '97 era, not the Beach Blonde Sting, but man, you
Surfer.
talk about a guy like reinventing his character, man. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna talk about James Mitchell here in a couple minutes, Hambone. Trust me. No, with Sting, man, when he came back as like the Crow Sting, because I loved it because I loved the Crow. Crow's like
So
one of my
good.
favorite movies growing up. Like I still think it's probably one of the better comic book adaptations, in my opinion.
I would agree.
The Crow was an awesome movie, and just to see him do that whole gimmick and stuff, the silent but deadly,
Yeah.
watching in the background, and him having like, the Crow and stuff. It was so badass.
When he first appeared in the rafters, it was just so sick.
I always remember the last Clash of the Champions and how that show ended. Because like the NWO's in the ring celebrating and stuff. And then Sting, they play the Sting music, which I think it was the first time I remember hearing kind of the Sting music. And it's got like thunder and stuff. And he's got
Yeah.
this like crazy entrance kind of. And he's up in the rafters. And then he's got the Crow. And then he sends the Crow down to the ring. And he's just hanging out on the ropes. And the NWO's just like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. Such an awesome moment.
Yeah, it
And I
really
mean-
is.
And it was cool too later on. Like how he was able to reinvent himself in Impact and do Joker Sting.
Joker Sting.
Another crazy
Yeah.
interpretation of his character, and a lot of people talk about that character, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Like, he was just doing chaotic shit, but it was just like it was over the top, but I loved it. Loved
Yeah.
every minute of that.
I would be okay with like a one-off like Joker Sting appearance in like AEW. I'd be okay with that.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I would, as much as I'd love to see that, I would love to see like Bleach Blonde Sting too. It'd be pretty cool.
Surfer Sting one more time.
Surfer Sting one more time. I don't think it would quite work, but I would mark out.
Yeah. And you got to give him credit, too, for just still going all these years later. He's still jumping off the top rope through tables, jumping off the
doing an
barricade in the
awesome
crowd.
job, too. It's like you never would have guessed the man's not even missing a beat. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the Stinger is one of the all-time greats. But we're talking spooky characters. We got to talk about the GOAT. We got to talk about your man,
Yeah.
The Undertaker.
Yep.
I mean, The Undertaker is the personification of all like spooky supernatural characters that's ever existed in the world of wrestling. The
Yep.
fact that he was able to play that character for so many years, reinvent himself, and then come back to the character and somehow make it even more like over with the crowd. I mean, first of all, there's nobody that ever could have played The Undertaker, in my opinion. Nobody could ever pull that character off.
Yeah.
I mean, just the sheer like the movements, the mannerisms he had, like just his eye rolling, the little stuff like rolling his eyes in the back of his head.
yeah. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
He really is. Like he really is. Like you can't. Ric Flair said this. Many other wrestlers have said this. I think we're all in agreement. He's the greatest character in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah. And it's not close.
No. He's. Well, I could talk hours about the Undertaker. Like, he's my all-time favorite. He's the greatest character that ever has been. I love the Undertaker so much that I went into that profession. If that tells you anything about how much I love the Undertaker, he's just the mind games, like his feud with Randy Orton, and just the streak and just everything about him was just killer.
And the fact is, here's the thing I think about him, like, as great of his character is, the fact that you could have another character come along based off of a storyline with him and be another one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And
Exactly.
And I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me.
Bless.
Oh, I hope Vince isn't watching. I hope he doesn't watch this and want to fire me or something. No.
And just the backstory of Kane and the Undertaker with Paul Bearer, it's just TV money. I mean, it was so good.
Greatest storyline ever of all time.
Greatest debut with Kane. Like, the whole thing was just crazy.
Ripping the cage door off.
Oh, so good.
It's gotta be Kane. It's gotta be Kane.
It's everything about him, man. The power of the urn, the power that the urn had, the Paul Bearer, like, just everything about him was so cool, man. And all of his entrances were great. Like, when he would have his WrestleMania entrances, they'd all be unique. Like, my favorite one ever is still where he kind of came up from the sea of hands, like trying to grab him.
Ooh, yeah.
That entrance is so cool.
That was from 29, wasn't it? In New York?
Yeah.
Against Punk, right? When he worked Punk, yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
I think. Yeah,
I think you're right.
Probably, there's a couple that come to mind. First one I gotta go with is probably 14. I love 14 just because, like having the Druids come out and they have, the fire and the Undertaker comes out, and of course that match with Kane. Oh my God, that's one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time. Was the first encounter with Kane and Taker. I'll just never forget, like, because it's the first time where you're seeing like Undertaker hits the tombstone, somebody kicks out, and you're like, what the fuck? And then he hits it again, and he kicks out again, and you're like, he can't beat him. Like, somehow he's not going to beat him. Just the storytelling, the build up to that, and especially in that match. Oh my God.
Yeah. And the fact that he was able to reinvent himself so many times, like, he came in, kind of started as like the Western mortician type thing, and then he kind of moved on. Then they even gave him a faction, and that worked. And then
Ministry of Darkness.
Even American Badass, like, I don't care. The Taker, Biker Taker. I know it's not spooky. It fits with the theme, but we at least got to speak on it. Like, that was great too. so good. He's so good, and the fact that like all the other wrestlers say he's like the locker room leader and like a good dude backstage, like it all just comes together. Just he's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what comes to mind is just like one of a kind.
Yeah,
Like you said, no one else could have played him, and yeah,
No, it's the Undertaker's in a class into his own. You know, you talk about like having like the Hall of Fame and having your own separate wing. Undertaker's one of those guys.
yeah.
He's definitely could you have him on his own. Um, I I don't think they've done this yet, but I'm sure he's going to be one of the probably the next wrestler to get a statue.
Oh yeah,
I
he'd
mean,
have
it
to be.
totally he has to be. I mean, he's one of the all time greats. You're talking about up there with like a Andre the Giant, like a Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, etc., etc. It's
Yep.
the Undertaker. It's the
And he
Undertaker, man.
stayed with the company. He never jumped ship. He never
No.
went anywhere. He stayed, and that dude, he's just a stand up guy, and he's the best.
And like you say, man, just all the different evolutions of his character. And like I say, I got to give the devil his due as well with Kane and how his
Yeah.
character changed over the years as well, and it's still kept like being of relevance. You know, with being the brother of the Undertaker, and then they kind of put him into kind of a more like sincere, like when he was like buddies with X Pac, you know, and then
Yeah.
like then from going there to going back, the Brothers of Destruction. I mean, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And then you know you go into when like Kane does get unmasked and goes to a whole new level of like terrifying after that.
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah.
never forget like right off the bat that feud he had with Shane McMahon in that Monday Night Raw where he like put the jumper cables to his testicles.
Yeah. Yeah. So good.
Oh, shit.
So good.
And of course you got to talk about too like the stuff he did like the evil stuff like you know, marrying Lita, you know, and then
Yeah.
getting her
yeah,
to like have his child, and then like the unborn child, and all that shit, and then the you know, going into like when he came back with the mask, and then of course you got to talk about Team Hell No,
Right.
like God, a resurgence in his character there. Even Corporate Kane,
Yeah.
as great as he was, you know, as great as Kane was, he even made Corporate Kane work. So. Hey, Hambone brings up a good point too, and we were going to talk about managers, but yeah, since we're talking Taker and Kane, you can't mention any of these guys without mentioning Paul Bearer.
Oh.
I mean, Paul Bearer was like the cherry on top, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it really, if you think about it, in hindsight, Taker, when he was really first like coming along there in like '91 and stuff, like Paul Bearer being his mouthpiece was perfect because he gave him time to still develop that character.
Sure.
Because who would have known if it was just Taker by himself cutting a promo?
Yeah.
He may have fumbled, which is crazy just to even say that out loud. But without
True.
Paul Bearer, you don't have an Undertaker and you don't have a
Yeah.
Kane.
Yeah.
It's as
Paul Bearer
simple
was
as that.
like, it was like when it's like when you, it's like when you wrap a present. It looks beautiful, and then you just put that bow.
Yeah.
Paul Bearer was just that bow that just tops it all off and just perfects it. He was so good, and I wish he was still around.
Oh my
yeah. I
gosh,
almost
yeah.
I almost see it as like he was almost like the narrator of the story. Like he was in the story, but he was almost like the narrator of the story that like progressed the story along too.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Hambone brings up a good point too. What if Brother Love was the Taker's manager for that time? I don't think it would have worked.
No.
Because it's just Brother Love was just the I love you and just like that whole it just it would not have worked nearly as well as Paul Bearer. So Paul Bearer being there and being a part of the evolution of the Undertaker, like he is just as big a part of that as the Taker himself, you know. And I think Taker would tell you that firsthand.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
And I've loved hearing the stories about the backstage stories about Paul Bearer all throughout the years, just like the ribbon and stuff. And he just seems like he was a good dude too, from everything I've heard and read and stuff. It's like somebody you just want to go hang out and have a beer with.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. Oh yes,
That might get a little annoying after a while though.
yes, yes.
If you have a few beers and he's still going like that, that might get a little old, but
Yeah, no doubt about that, my friend. Hey, let's talk about the current crop of spooky characters that you have out there, and there's a good amount of them. First one that comes to mind, Malachi Black.
Yeah.
And I know, of course, the situation with him going on in real life, but hopefully that, he gets to a better place mentally and will make a comeback, whether it's an AEW, WWE, whatever.
Yeah.
But just
I,
like, I loved his character. I still love his characters today. Badass in the ring. I think the stuff they were doing in AEW was good. It was just a matter of like, they just didn't have enough allotted time, just like everybody else.
yeah.
But what the time they did have, they made it work.
No
uh,
doubt.
Malachi and House of Black's awesome too. I love all those guys there, and then bringing Julia Hart in, I
Yeah.
really have enjoyed like seeing her get her time to shine there in the
Yeah.
role she has.
Yeah.
I know
I
House of
mean,
Black's like one of your favorites, isn't it? B-roll.
yeah. I mean, and like, shoot, man, getting to see their like the entrance at All Out, just like it's just like you just have to be there for it. And honestly, I don't care where he ends up. I just want him to be able to be like his fullest character. And
Yeah,
I mean, I love the whole House of Black in itself. Um, like it just works. Him and Brody, like especially him and Brody, just
Yeah.
works.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it really does. Like it's like peanut butter and jelly, man. It goes. It works. So,
Yeah.
um,
He's so good. He's so good.
yeah, so damn good.
Were you guys
I love.
were you guys familiar with him as Tommy End before before he got signed?
I seen some of. He worked in ICW for a time, didn't he? Yeah, I
Yeah.
seen his stuff in ICW. Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
really good.
the only I watched like a video on him of like kind of like the basis of his character, and that was like the first time I'd heard that mentioned. So
The way he's
yeah,
progressed his character is so cool too. Like he started as Aleister Black in NXT. He had a crazy like character and story there. And then the way like when he came to AEW and he had the thing around his eye which plays back to like a previous story. Like the way he still kept that up, like the way he kind of still progresses and he still remembers the stuff he's been through. Like his character development is really well done.
Yeah, it's like, and he has his own like fan base, and he knows like what he's doing, and he knows they're paying attention to it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that long term storytelling, even if it's something as simple as just like something to do with his eye or whatever it may be, awesome on his
It's the
behalf.
details, man. The details
It's the
matter.
detail, abso-freaking-lutely. Another one I want to talk about, Killer Cross.
Yeah.
Love his character, and that dude. If have you ever listened to any shoot interviews from that guy?
I don't think
Such
so.
a smart guy. He got the. I remember the first one I ever heard it was like with or of his was with Chris Van Fleet.
Right.
Such a smart guy. Smart guy for the business. He's a huge horror fan as well. He's really big into horror movies too, which I think really helps with his character and stuff. And
Yeah.
the stuff
Yeah.
they're doing now with like him and Scarlett. And it's so nice to see him back in WWE
yes,
and getting the opportunity he so rightfully deserves.
Here's a question
mean-
for you.
Yeah.
Hair or no hair on Killer Cross?
Oh, that's a
Hair.
good one. I kind of like
Hair.
him without the hair. It's kind of
I-
creep.
I like him with the hair.
I'm okay with both, but
Yeah.
I love. I go. I guess I go back to the stuff he was doing in Impact. I love that he was doing
Sure.
there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can go with either or. But I do kind of like him without the hair, if I'm being honest. So,
I do. I dig the leather jacket he's rocking lately, though. That leather jacket is smooth.
yeah. Now, Hambone, you got a good point. I did not catch him on Lucha Underground. I'll be honest, but I've heard about the Mil Muertes character. He
Mil
did there.
Muertes was amazing.
Yeah, pretty
Lucha
badass.
Underground. Lucha Underground has some great horror characters.
I watched it for a brief period of time when I could actually get it, when I had like the El Rey network.
Yeah.
But then like my cable package or whatever, they did away with it, and it was just like But
Yeah.
but
But-
from what I saw of Lucha Underground, it was Lucha Underground is a promotion I think we're going to be talking about years to come.
Oh, I agree.
Now I don't
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong here. Are they still running shows? I didn't think they were.
No, they got canceled and they ran out of funding a few years ago. But there's been talks of them rebooting it. I heard like a few months ago there was more talks, but I don't think it'll happen. But what they've been doing lately, which is cool, is they've been uploading full shows on their YouTube now. So
Oh,
if you
that's
haven't got
cool.
a chance to check it out, or you want to rewatch
That
some
is
of it, they are doing some YouTube stuff.
I've
Yeah.
heard of Tubi. I'll have to do that, Hambone. I'm definitely intrigued. I'm a big movie buff too, and I
Yeah.
believe didn't Robert Rodriguez was heavily involved with Lucha Underground, wasn't he?
Correct.
Yeah. So, and I love Robert Rodriguez's stuff, so I'm sure it's like right up my alley.
And that's why I was such a fan of it, because it was shot and filmed like a movie. Like the way it was, like all kind of like had some cool cinematography, and it just looked different than any other wrestling show on. And I think that's what attracted a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's got like the right kind of blend of the cinematic stuff. I
Yeah.
think it wasn't like too overdone, kind of like what we saw last night, in my opinion.
I would agree.
But you know, it was it was like just the perfect touch of it. It worked out.
It was good. It was really good.
I could see that. I'm gonna definitely have to get in on that trend and check it out.
Yeah.
Let's go back to AEW here. How about Darby Allin? The cool thing I like about Darby is like his background. It's like being a film student, and how he like kind of incorporates like those kind of he has those weird, you know, like promo videos or whatever you want to call them. But he's kind of one of those guys too. I think a lot of people would compare him to this version of Jeff Hardy in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the daredevil antics and just the artistic mindset he has.
Yeah. I think we can agree though that guy's not going to have a long career.
No.
Not all the stuff he's doing. Have you seen the stuff he does outside of wrestling?
Oh, it's crazy, like the Nitro Circus shit and stuff. Like, yeah. It's
He
like,
jumped
dude.
he jumped a car over his house. He jumped off like a waterfall, like this huge ass waterfall. He's doing all this crazy. That guy's not going to have a very long career at all.
No, he's not. He's not.
Yeah, and I think we have a comment for Inspector Neep.
Yeah, Vincent and the Righteous.
We got to go there.
Bray Wyatt faction, baby.
Yeah, but Vincent's a great character, great wrestler,
Oh.
great mind.
Vincent's amazing.
Promos are phenomenal.
I think Uncle Howdy is Vincent. I'm just going to throw that out there real quick. I think Uncle Howdy is Vincent. I think he is.
If he is, I am so stoked because his contract's over with Impact, right?
He's free, yeah.
He's free agent. Okay. Yeah, and there is a history there too with him and Bray, right?
Him and Bray
yeah.
are great friends.
Yeah, so I mean that just makes perfect sense. Like God, could you imagine they bring him in and just like you say the psychology of both those guys? Oh my God, it'd be like the equivalent of like in the wrestling world of like let's say Martin Scorsese's working with Quentin Tarantino or something.
Yeah,
man.
right.
I mean, it's just like yes, please take my money now. I need to see this.
Yeah. Hambone, you might be right. I'm still 50-50 on if it's a faction or split.
I'm leaning more towards it's like his psycho like we were talking about before we started here tonight. I think it's really just all of his personalities. But if it is a faction, that's pretty cool.
Either way, it should turn out really well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it could even be like the faction comes in and helps him deal, with these these personalities.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
could be.
You never know, man.
And what if the split personalities are just played by other people? Like I said, the Uncle Howdy, that's not Bray, and the guy's wearing a mask. If you rewatch it, he's wearing a mask. There's some kind of prosthetic or mask. So what if the other personalities are just being portrayed by other people, but they're still personalities? Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. I could see it being that way.
Yeah.
And that mask, it's got to be like a Tom Savini mask too.
Oh,
like
100%.
That dude, the guy. Oh man, like I say, I'm a big horror fan, and his work is amazing. I'm so happy that like he's been doing stuff with wrestling here these past couple of years. So awesome. But yeah, I'm with you. That's totally like that's a badass mask.
And the best thing about Bray is that we don't know. And in this day of internet and stuff like that, the best things are when we don't know 100%.
And speaking from a fan that's been a fan of, I've watched wrestling for over 30 years at this point in my life, and it's like you pretty much at that point you've seen just about all. But this, I don't know where it's going, and
Exactly.
I fucking love that I don't know where
Exactly.
this is going. That's the beauty of it. So
Yeah.
and we're going to talk a little bit more here about Bray Wyatt. I want to talk about some ladies here for a couple minutes, and Hambo mentioned this lady earlier, Abaddon.
Oh.
Abaddon.
Creepy as
Holy
shit.
shit. creepy as hell, and like great. She's another one too. Like great character. Like even her like social media stuff. I mean, yeah, she'll do the post and stuff, but she never shows her face. I do think she has like a. If you do like a deep dive on her, I think she does like have an alternative like Twitter or something like that, where you can see her regular look or something like that. But still, like her character is like holy shit. I would
Yeah.
wish you could see her more on TV too, as well.
Oh, definitely.
Like you do not see her hardly at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Abaddon's got some cake.
Yeah. Her and Bailey are opening up a bakery.
There you go, man. Hey, another lady I want to talk about too. What about Sue Young,
Oh yeah.
the Undead Bride?
Yeah,
Oh
Sue
my
Young, of
gosh,
course.
I love Sue Young. Such another great wrestler. And just that whole like Undead Bride gimmick, and then really for me, was creepy as that was when she started doing the Susie character.
Yeah.
It was just like holy shit. Like
Yeah. I think that's when I really gravitated towards her. Was that
Yeah.
whole character?
I agree. I agree. Yeah, that's a good point. Like I kind of watched her and stuff, but like when she started doing Susie, I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's what really caught my eye.
Yeah, and then going the back and forth. Rosemary's another one I want to talk about too. Rosemary with the decay. Even Rosemary's still like doing with like her stuff she does now, and you got to talk about Jessica Havoc as well.
Got to.
Man, both of those women's wrestlers awesome and just like great in their characters as well, and touching into that kind of like spooky supernatural element. And Rosemary always talking about the hive and stuff. I love shit like that. It's like right in my wheelhouse. Now, gotta mention the very nice and the very evil Danhausen.
Denhausen.
Put the curse on you. Like, just I love the fact that like that character went from being like kind of really spooky at very first to just being just stupid fun. Just stupid fun. Like,
And
just,
you guys got to meet him, right?
we did. We've met him before, but super nice guy. Not that he wouldn't be, but just like very professional. He was a very good cat.
Cool.
Yeah, we
He
got
talked to us for a
the
couple
very nice version.
You got the very nice side, yeah.
Yeah. I'm still waiting
Ooh.
to see some teeth on AEW television though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to happen. That's got to happen.
Ooh,
That's
Daphne.
that's one I did not have on my list. I'm glad you said it, Hambone. Yeah, Daphne, the Queen of Scream, man.
Yeah.
Oh, when she got brought in WCW in the late '90s as David Flair's like crazy girlfriend, and just always the screaming stuff. But the thing with her, man, what a great wrestler, in-ring wrestler she was. I mean, Daphne could freaking go, and it's a shame, what happened to her, and she's no longer with us.
Yep.
But Daphne was a phenomenal wrestler, and another one of those wrestlers who really like tapped into that spooky genre, and of course with Raven too. Like the stuff that they did there. Yeah, it's good shit, as Vince McMahon would say.
I think when it comes to spooky, creepy characters, like the characters are always so well done that the wrestling ability kind of goes unnoticed. And a lot of these people are really good wrestlers, but like no one ever brings it up because their characters are always just so good.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
A couple others I want to mention here. We got to talk about Joe Gacy. How about Joe Gacy, man? Ooh.
Yeah.
That dude's killing it on NXT. That stuff that he was doing, I'm excited for Tuesday to see who they're going to unmask as the fourth member of that group.
Any speculation? You got anybody? I can't think of anybody, honestly.
I think it's going to be somebody from NXT, somebody that's
that we
working in
just-
the Performance Center, but somebody that we're not aware of. But I hope it's like a like among the lines of like being a very spooky. I also kind of hope it's a female too. I think that would
Yeah.
make it
That's what I
make
was
it pretty
just
strong.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's kind of what you need really. Is you need a good strong female character, and then one more I want to mention here: Dexter Loomis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just him, yes, the looks, dude, just the
looks.
look. Like, a very talented artist too, with like the stuff with his drawings and stuff. I loved that storyline in NXT with him and Indy Hartwell, and with
so good.
Gargano and stuff.
So
God,
good.
that was so good, man. So good. But finally, as we're talking about this current era here, you got it. We've talked about him already. Bray Wyatt. I mean,
Yeah.
let me throw this question out there: is Bray Wyatt the modern day version of the Undertaker?
Yeah.
I
And
think so.
I don't like making those comparisons. Like
Agreed.
I don't like when people say, "Oh, he's the new Undertaker" or whatever. I don't like making those. But just on a what he has potential to be, yeah. I've said for a long time, like I've said from years ago, because I've been following him since he was cutting promos in the backwoods of Louisiana, and he had that thick Louisiana accent. I've been following him for a very long time. He's one of the most creative guys I think that's ever stepped through those doors at the company. I really think that. Like he is such a genius, and every little thing he does has all these details to it, and he's just he everything he's brought to the table, whether it's rocking chair Bray Wyatt or the Fiend or whatever the hell this new thing is. Everything he brings is just it's so good. It's just so good.
Yeah. No, everything he touches is great. Like, and just the psychology he has, man. And just the fact that he's got that that horror movie mindset, I'd call it. You
Yeah.
know, like I think that helps a lot tremendously with the character. So, yeah, I look at it this way: is everybody in basketball world, everyone's like, who's the next Michael Jordan? You know, who's the next Michael Jordan? And like I always like everybody's like, "Oh, Michael Jordan's better than the." Well, yeah, it's Michael Jordan, you know, but there's only one Michael Jordan. There's only one Kobe Bryant, you know, and to me, that's kind of the same thing. There's only
Right.
one. There's only one Undertaker. There's only one Bray Wyatt. So there you go. Well, hey,
Yeah.
it's come to that time of the show, Mister B-roll. I think we need another plug-a-palooza.
Plugapalooza. And as always, Plugapalooza is always number two is normally when I do the shot, but I've already done one. But
Better do
gotta
another.
gotta keep tradition alive. It's been a great episode so far. Want to thank everybody that has joined us so far. Hambone, you have been like the MVP of the chat, and I freaking love it. You are awesome.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure I got that out during my Plugapalooza.
Hambone,
Um,
you've done such an awesome job. I feel like sharing with you my custom LJN Samoa Joe action figure. See that? Look how
speak,
terrifying that is, huh?
Speaking of creepy,
Yeah.
yes, that
Speaking of creepy.
this is a good. That was a good episode to debut that. So I'm proud of you, sir. Um,
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
but speaking of content, over on Cole TV, this week we have tons of great content for you. On Tuesday, we have the Halloween Havoc reaction show. Don't miss his thoughts and reactions live and in color, if you will. Wednesday will be the second annual Cole TV Spooktacular Halloween special. You're not going to want to miss that. Um, let's see what else. Then Thursday, you can catch the replay of this, and then Friday, fingers crossed, you'll get the
I can
Chubb
get it
Life
done.
Halloween special. Well, I mean, basically, it's if Chubby's not being a dick, right? So I mean,
There is that too. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, Chubby is my dog, and he has his own show on our YouTube channel, and it's pretty hilarious. So, but I said this at the beginning of the show. I'll say it again. Pulling back the curtain, like pretty much today for me, I've been balls deep in editing. That's like all I've done from like the time I got up to the time of this show. And you know, like everybody else, work full time job too. So good stuff. But yeah, we've got some awesome content coming to you this week on Cold TV, nonetheless.
nonetheless. Um, and then speaking of Cole TV and Learning the Ropes, we do have some merch representing both the Learning the Ropes tonight. That is available exclusively over at Sweet Doll Face Creations. I believe Neep, I believe you have some merch as well.
Yeah,
I have,
they do great work over there.
yeah. I believe he
Yeah, they
has some
do.
merch as well. I'm pretty sure he has it in his bio, so go get you some Irish Neep merch as well. I mean, definitely, because like I say it all the time. It's like beating a dead horse, but um, when you're getting the merch, you're not only supporting us though, you're supporting a small business. So it's like two birds, one stone. So there you go. And let's throw this out there. Special reminder that Self Bet has the cancer shirt going on
Yeah.
right now as we're winding down in October. So come on, guys, let's get to 50 shirts. I really need to see him like get chopped 10 times in the corner.
Yeah.
Needs to happen.
I
Has
don't
to
know if
happen.
I don't know if I'm ready to see Jaxbo do the one chip challenge.
It's bad.
I'm a little concerned for Jaxbo.
Mm-hmm.
A little concerned.
I've heard nothing but terrifying things.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Like everyone I have seen videos of doing it, they end up like laying down on the floor. They're like, no, the floor feels good. It's cold.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But you've also found us over here on the Panda Wrestling Company Twitch channel. Please go ahead and follow, like, subscribe, whatever you feel so inclined. If you have Amazon Prime, you can do it for free. Google it. It's pretty easy to figure out. Sponsored by exclusively Rootless Coffee, because it is a
Damn.
fine cup of coffee. For sure. All right.
Now, go ahead and do your shot.
Cheers. By the way,
Che-
if you put exclamation point Prime in the chat, it'll take you right to that link for Amazon Prime.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
There you go, man.
Learning all kinds of things.
It's also that time of the show where we choose our Wrestle Talk Content Creator of the Week. Am I right, Mr. B-Roll?
Yep.
I would hope so. And this week, we actually was excited, and we're still excited to talk about this gentleman. The cool thing is he just hit 1,000, actually, here recently. We're talking about the one and only Founding Brother.
Yeah.
As our Wrestle Talk Content Creator of the Week, he always has some awesome questions that he poses, great responses. Really good dude. If you're not following him, you should go give him a follow. You're going to like him. I guarantee
Cool dude.
it.
Cool dude.
Really cool dude.
Yep.
Absolutely. And he is our Wrestle Talk Content Creator of the Week.
Nice.
All right, let's get back into our discussion on spooky moments in wrestling. That's exactly what I want to talk about next. Now, I want to talk about some of the spookier moments in the history of professional wrestling. And I kind of alluded to this one early on, like talking about scary moments as a child. So we talked about the buried alive, but this moment as well I want to mention. And well, thank you, Hambone. I appreciate that. We're going to get there someday. Slow and steady wins the race. And if I build it, everybody will come, right?
They will come.
There you go.
That's right.
But no, I want to talk about one of my scariest moments as a child. And if I could, so Mr. B-Roll, give me a little bit of control here, because I want to pull up one of the scarier moments. Oh, you know what? I guess it would help if I actually sent it to you, wouldn't it? That would probably help. Whoopsie! Hey, we're live. We're live, pal.
We're live, pal.
Yeah, let me get that.
I can pull it up if you need me to.
I'm curious to see what this is.
I got it. Let me get it on here. Yeah, I already had it like pulled up on my tab. I just didn't realize. Oh yeah, I need to send him something. There we go.
Okay.
That show up?
Yes, I got it.
Amazing.
Man.
Yo, are you still trying to lose weight?
All right.
Yes, I am. It's amazing.
Moment. I got another moment I want to show you here too. They still got the screen here? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Papa
that's so good.
show it, but like he ends up going to the back and like puking, and it's like pea soup. Here's another moment for you. How about Abdul the Butcher getting electrocuted?
Oh, gee.
Oh
It's
my
insane.
goodness. Poor
insane.
Abby. Look at that. And I love the commentary too. Oh, he's getting cooked. It's like, oh, Tony. Here's another going a stupid. He goes into that promo, which was
Oh.
kind of like okay at the time, but I would have just preferred to just see Seven the character.
Yeah.
But those were some of the spookier moments.
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
And that too. I'm glad I didn't include a boogeyman clip because you got him covered for the night.
Yeah.
But another thing I remember as a kid too, and we were talking Undertaker earlier, the funeral parlor, the interview segment with Paul Bearer. That was always pretty cool to see. It's very like, the Undertaker's music's playing and just like the creepy smoke coming out from the the casket and shit.
Yeah.
That was always pretty badass. I always remember too when they turned Jake the Snake heel, and they had him trap the Ultimate Warrior in a casket as well. And that was just kind of like he wouldn't let him out of the casket because it's like you got to touch into your inner demon, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was always good. One I was gonna not mention, but I thought well, I gotta mention it for comical. What about the debut of the Yeti?
The Yeti. I knew you were gonna go there.
It's like, oh my god, it's the Yeti, and he's
It's so bad. It's
so bad, it's good. Yeah, and then
It's so bad.
the fucking bear hug.
Yeah.
Oh man, oh man.
Yeah.
How about when the Warrior was playing Mind Trips with Hollywood Hogan on WCW Nitro? That was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Just fucking stupid. I mean, stupid as in okay. I look back on it hindsight. At the time, I hated it, but I look back on it now. I'm like, okay, that's pretty funny. I got
It's just kind of cheesy.
Yes, very cheesy.
The Yeti.
The Yeti.
The Yeti.
And then, oh, you know what? I wasn't gonna go there, but you mentioned it, Hambone, the ECW zombie.
Zombie.
Oh Lord, I think that was on the very first episode of ECW on Sci-Fi 2, and he comes out, and I think they give him the mic or something, and he's just like brains.
Yeah. It's
The best part was when the Sandman come out and just caned the shit out of him. That was the best part of that segment by far. Here's a creepy one I always thought, and this is with The Undertaker, and I'm talking Undertaker in the Ministry of Darkness. What about when he abducted Stephanie?
Oh, dude, that one's crazy.
Dude, that was badass. Where Stephanie's in the limo, and she's, talking to the driver, and it's
He just turns around.
"We're to Stephanie," and she's,
So crazy.
blood-curdling scream.
Yeah.
And then that whole, the crucifixion stuff they did with her and, Stone Cold and shit. Ministry of Darkness Undertaker, I think, was probably one of my favorite Undertaker interpretations. I just love that, just crazy satanic, badass Undertaker. Yeah,
Yeah.
and when he was about to embalm Stone Cold, yes. And wasn't it in their bloopers on that? I think, and it's Paul Bearer is joking around, it's I'm gonna pull his shorts down or some shit. Okay, now I gotta Google this shit. Now that I'm thinking about that, now my wrestling brain won't You know what I'm talking about, though? I think there's bloopers.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to look for
Dude,
Paul.
that stuff was so good.
Yeah, I feel like we should share this with the class.
I think we should.
What's crazy is the reason I'm so attached to the Undertaker is I grew up in and around a funeral home. So whenever there was anything with the funeral parlor, like you mentioned, or any kind of casket or the mention of embalming, I'm like, I see this stuff every day in real life, and now that's on my TV, and it's so good.
That's awesome. Scary and awesome at the same time.
Scary. I got some ghost stories.
All right, I'm going to try to find this clip here.
All right.
I think I got it.
The bloopers, right?
I'm trying to find the bloopers. Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is the actual clip.
Are you ready for me to add it?
So good.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's blooper.
That's what it's all about. Yeah. Now for the drawers.
These outtakes sure reveal some levity behind the scenes.
Oh, that's good.
I love it. I fucking love that. That's amazing on so
that's
many
amazing.
levels. So, yeah, you had to mention that. Another one. How about Chucky on TV, who we just saw recently, actually, here on NXT. But I always remember him being on Nitro and calling out Rick Steiner, which I'm surprised they didn't do anything with him and Braun Breaker, kind of tapping into that. That would have made more sense, right?
Yeah. How do you guys feel about something like that, where it's a crossover like that?
It depends. There's been some. Has there been any good ones during the years of wrestling? You know what I mean?
That's the thing.
The very first thing when you talk about crossover, promotion of a film into wrestling, the first thing I go to, RoboCop.
Oh yeah, of course.
And that was so fucking terrible.
It's just a lot of them. You just know it's forced, and you're okay, we get it. There's another Chucky movie coming out, so you're putting them in here. So it's just a lot of it just feels forced.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's a good one with Hambo mentions. Yeah, with the
with the
ministry
acolytes.
and with Midian. Oh man, yeah, and they were like cutting into his skin or some shit.
Yeah.
Like that was a creepy image as a child. I
Yes, it
remember.
was.
Oh my god. So, well, it's come to that time of the show where we like to do a match watch along, and I got a hell of a match for you here because it's going to tie into the realms of horror movies.
Ooh.
Did you know, Mr. B-roll, that there is a match out here that exists where Leatherface goes one-on-one with Freddy Krueger? This is legit.
That's what we're gonna watch.
That's what we're gonna watch. We're gonna watch some highlights at least, anyway, of it.
Okay.
Here is Leatherface versus Freddy Krueger from over in Japan in 1993.
Look how they spelled Kruger.
Yeah, just so they could get by with like we're not gonna get sued. Now, fun story. Freddy Krueger. Oh, there you see Leatherface. Now, Leatherface, believe it or not, was a staple in the in FMW territory. He actually wrestled there quite a bit. And there you see Freddy.
I like how all the people are terrified.
I'd be too, man.
Yeah.
But actually, funny story, Freddy Krueger is being played by wrestler Doug Gilbert in this.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Doug Gilbert as Eddie Gilbert's brother,
I did
younger
not know
brother.
that.
Yep. Just look at this. It's like, are we going to do something here, fellas?
When was this? Oh, 93.
93. Yep. Going after the fans. And look at they couldn't have got a better mask for Doug Gilbert to play Freddy Krueger, man. It's like, come on, dude. Oh, man.
Look at the carnage with all the chairs.
Yeah, they really did have a whole roster of like crazy characters, of movie-based characters.
Well,
and I was trying to think of who Leatherface was. I forget the name of the wrestler who was playing him. Oh, this sucks. It keeps freezing up. But
it
this
just
match,
can't handle the hardcore action.
I know, right? Could you imagine going to a show though and like not knowing who exactly is going to be on it? It's like, oh yeah, by the way, you're going to get a match between Freddy Krueger and Leatherface.
Yeah.
Oh God, Freddy's going to go for a pile driver. Oh, Corporal Kirshner. Thank you, Hambone. Yep, that's right. That's who was playing Leatherface.
This is so interesting.
Look at that.
Oh.
Holy shit.
On the protective mats.
Yeah. Oh my God. Jason Voorhees has joined us.
This is quite the crossover.
What do you think of this matchup, Jason? I know you did a little action and with Freddy Krueger. I don't think you've ever faced Leatherface, though.
I'm pulling for Leatherface. He's a good buddy of mine.
Oh, I did not know that. Is there still some resentment against Freddy?
It's Jason Voorhees.
Jason Brol. I think we just found the third face of B-roll.
Yeah, Gracie said it best. This is like a 2K22 creation match.
Right? Yeah. It really is. I just love the fact that this is a real, like, this exists.
Yeah.
And better yet, happened all the way back in 1993. Gotta love the Japanese, man. Oh,
This is
God.
amazing.
Freddy's gonna hit a bulldog on the barbed wire bat. Oh, no. Did he ever hit a bulldog on you, Jason, in Freddy vs. Jason?
No, he did not.
Was this the main event?
I don't know, but I would love it if it was.
You think about going to
Yeah.
a wrestling show, you want to come along? Yeah, what's the main event? I think it's Freddy Krueger versus Leatherface.
It's like, fuck yeah, take my money now. Yeah, and Hambo makes a good point, too. It's not like this was just a one-shot deal. This is like a long-term storyline being told.
How are they able to get away with this though? Like,
Because
That's-
it's Japan, and the fact
Yeah.
that like the different spelling on the characters' names.
this is so.
I can't see like New Line Cinema being like, wait a minute, what's this bullshit going on? If I was New Line Cinema, I'd be like, fuck, we got to get these guys involved with promoting the next Freddy movie. This
Yeah.
is beautiful. That's a good point too. They're in a fucking backyard.
In a backyard, and they got the mask at Dollar Tree.
Yep, pretty much. Well, just the absurdity of this.
That's always going to be the, like Hambone said, that's always going to be the nice thing about like backyard, super small indie shows is you can basically just do whatever.
Yeah, it's like, nope, it's cool. We're good.
Man, Leatherface is over.
Oh yeah, like legit. He actually was very over in Japan. Fuck you. That's all I heard. I don't know if that was Freddy or Leatherface, but oh shit, that was not good looking at all.
Oh,
Stay down, Freddy.
oh man, that didn't look good at all.
You know, this reminds me of such classics as like Luthez against Frank Gotch, and you know, it's it's up there with Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes.
Did Dave Meltzer rate this?
Oh, he should have.
That's what we need to know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing. The crowd is legitimately like the Japanese are just like, oh fuck, but they're so terrified. It's like they love it. But Leatherface picking up the win. Listen to the crowd.
He's so over. They're all
And they're
following him.
following him. This is like insane.
This is crazy.
Look at that guy like right next to him, just like with his little. He's like he doesn't know what to do. Oh no,
Oh.
Freddy with the sneak attack, you son of
Freddy's
a bitch.
Revenge.
Oh, welcome
where'd
back,
Jason
B-roll.
go?
What did I miss?
Oh, you just missed one of the greatest matches in wrestling history.
Certified
Oh
5
God!
stars.
Oh God! Look, he's got the bat with the nails. Yeah, Meltzer. Yeah, what was the rating on this?
This broke the scale.
Hey, it did take place in Japan, so it has a shot.
Yeah.
Yes. Wrestling lady, that's so good. Iraq the man is pissed. Oh, I love the Iraq the man. And don't forget Lasertron.
This is incredible.
All I'm gonna say is if this is your stick right here, you're gonna want to tune into our Halloween party next week because we've got something for the people.
That's right. There you have it.
That is insane.
That was our watch along match, man. There you go. So yeah, and that's that's one thing we forgot to plug. B-roll is yes, next week on Learning the Ropes we are having a Halloween party, and it's going to be awesome. All sorts of wrestling themed activities and stuff, and it's not gonna be our typical show either. We're just gonna have a really good old time, and we invite all you to come along. We're gonna have a lot of guests too. Dress up as your favorite wrestler. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. So I'm glad you said something there.
Who are you dressing up as?
You'll have to tune in next week to find out.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've figured out. And hey, we want to have people on. So if you're not, if anybody in the chat or anything, if you're not doing anything, it's like he said, it's not going to be our typical episode. It's going to kind of just be like a hang out and come as you go. So
Yep.
if anybody wants to,
it's gonna be a fun
join,
time.
just message one of us and we'll make it happen.
That sounds sick.
It's gonna be a good time. Well, let's talk about some of the spookiest matches of all time, and the very first one that comes to mind, the casket match. Let me
Yeah.
ask you this: what'd you all think of that casket match last night? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was what it was. I thought the gimmick where
Yeah.
like he went through the casket and then like the lights went out and they were trying, but I think they were just trying too hard. I mean, it was the physicality of the match and stuff was okay. I was really shocked that they didn't spin a blindfold match because the way that storyline was going, I thought for sure it was going to be a blindfold match.
I'm surprised. I thought the wrong person was the winner.
I agree. I thought Grayson Waller should have went
Yeah.
over in that match. I
Me
agree.
too.
Nothing against Apollo Crews, but I just like it didn't make sense to me like why Apollo won, other than I guess to give him a win. But yeah, it
He
is
doesn't
what
need
it
a win.
is. No, not really. I mean,
No.
he's already established and stuff, and that's
Yeah.
not to say Grayson isn't, but I think it would have done more for Grayson's career than it would have
Exactly.
been for Apollo.
Exactly.
They did commentary did make an interesting note last night. That was only the fourth casket match in WWE history that did not involve the Undertaker.
Wow.
Yeah, so which I mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
I remember the very first one too is always the one that stuck out to me, the one against Kamala,
Kamala.
because I just remember too it was so different because it was always like you close the lid, but that one you had to put the lid on and you had to nail
Yeah.
put nails in it and stuff, so it was like more realistic and stuff. And I'll just always never forget that look on Kamala's face after they get him out of the casket, and he's just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
so awesome."
I do always love when they add stuff to the casket lid, like nails or. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
The also too the second one I remember with Taker and Yokozuna at the Royal Rumble '94, and the finish of that, and like where the Undertaker like ascends to the heavens. That was another
Yeah.
creepy moment in the history of wrestling as well as the Undertaker. But yeah, the casket match is definitely like I feel like is a go-to, man. You always got to talk about that. The we talked about earlier the Buried Alive match. Very first one, in my opinion, is the best one, but I say that because I was there and seen it as a kid.
I agree. It is. It's the best.
The one with Austin's good too. I did
Yeah.
like. Did you always think it was weird how like they had one on SmackDown that one time?
Random. Yeah.
Yeah, just at
So
random. And
random.
if I remember too, I think it was a tag match, wasn't it? Like it was just like wasn't it like Rock and Sock against like Big Show and Taker or something like that?
Maybe it was. I remember it being on random TV, but I can't quite remember who was on it.
Yeah, there was like no real build to it or anything.
No.
And I do remember the one with Taker and Kane and like the whole Vince McMahon getting him, or no, it was Taker and McMahon and then Kane getting involved in it at Survivor
Right.
Series of '03, and thus kind of ending the American Badass character
Yeah.
and setting up to bring back the Dead Man. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the Buried Alive matches was always great, and they served a
So
pretty
good.
good purpose. You remember the last Ride match? I think they may have only done one of those. It was him and it was Taker and JPL, and the whole point was
Last
you got
Ride.
you had to put him in the hearse. So you
Oh,
had to
that's right.
you had to incapacitate your opponent and put them inside of a hearse.
That's right. I
to win the
remember that.
matchup. Yeah. I think that was the only one of those they did, if memory serves me correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course the Inferno matches. I mean that was kind of Kane's bag.
I
but-
love those. Though.
But the
Those are
Inferno
so
matches,
cool.
the first one's the best one by far. The first one, it was like they were doing shit. It was like it's crazy. Like how are you guys doing this? Like when
Yeah.
Taker jumps over the top rope.
That's so crazy.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So true
Like-
story. Have not seen any of those matches. An Inferno match.
The first one, you're right. When he dives over the rope, over the flames, it's crazy.
Like such an iconic image.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! And then like I mean that's the best one. I mean, they did. There was the one that I guess it was called Ring of Fire, but the
Yeah.
one with Bray Wyatt and Kane, that one, it wasn't that great. It was okay.
Wasn't there one where it was like? Wasn't there one where it was like Kane and like MVP or something?
That was another
Yeah.
one I was gonna mention too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Kane and MVP, and I feel like there was another one they had on Monday Night Raw too. I think they did a Kane and they may have done Kane and Taker on Raw too. But it was just always like whoever was wearing like the full body like the suit pretty much was going to be the loser of that match.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
You remember? Now there was one that they had in Impact that was a very interesting one. It was a Last Rites match, not to be confused with The Last Ride, but it was Sting against Abyss. And that was a kooky time, to say the least. Like,
What
just
was
with-
the how did you have to win that match?
Well, if memory serves me correct on that, it was like some crazy bullshit like finish. You had to. It was a combination. You pin your opponent, and then you had to put them in a casket, and they couldn't get out of the casket for 30. It was something fucking stupid.
Oh, that's weird.
Because it was like they made the rules like more complicated than they needed to be, is what I remember about that. But still, there was some pretty interesting visuals and stuff. And I could be mixing it up with one of the other crazy Impact matches, but I feel like on that one, that's what the rule set was. Yeah, you just essentially had to incapacitate your opponent. Another one in the WCW realm, the Graveyard Match.
Yeah.
They did that in Bash at the Beach 2000 with Vampiro and the Demon. And that was kind of a cinematic match, really, because it's like they filmed it in a graveyard. And then the whole premise of that match was you had to, once again, incapacitate your opponent, come back to the arena, and okay, is that what? Okay, I am getting them mixed up then. So it's a last rites match. It's a TNA variation where a casket's loaded, and the objectives get your. I knew it was something to do with the casket. Oh, and then it's raised to the ceiling. I knew it was some sort of. Yeah, it was some sort of like crazy bullshit. Like, and there you go. I think I'm getting mixed up with like the final deletion too, which I want to talk about those here briefly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, kind of a perfect segue. Let's talk about cinematic matches. Some good, some bad, some just like, what the hell did I just see? And of course, for the pandemic era, you know, we got a ton of those cinematic matches, and it made sense in that time frame too, to compensate for some things. But the final deletions, what I fear, or the deletion matches, all stuff with Broken Matt Hardy is what I always remember. Deletion against them against the Decay and stuff. And they're coming for King Maxwell.
Yeah.
Just it is what it is. Like, how do you feel about cinematic matches, Neat?
I mean, for me, I take each one differently. Like, those deletion ones were okay. They were cool because I'm a huge fan of Broken Matt Hardy. Like, those were okay. But then you look at, like, Taker's retirement match against AJ, and I think that was really well done.
The Boneyard match,
Yeah, I think that one was really well done. So with me, when it comes to those kind of matches, I don't really summarize them. I kind of just look at each one because they can be really good or they can be shit.
Yeah. The Boneyard match is probably one of the better, if not the best, cinematic match, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a perfect send-off for The Undertaker, too, especially with it being at WrestleMania. So, speaking of that WrestleMania, I got to talk about the Firefly Funhouse, if you want to call that a match. That was interesting. That was just interesting as hell to see. I mean, I don't even know if you really would call it a match, because, I mean, it really wasn't.
Nah.
But just like the crazy segments and stuff they put together in that with John Cena and Bray and stuff, and revisiting the history of John Cena and stuff, and how it all kind of tied together. It was unique. It's worth watching at least once or twice. But
We got NWO Cena.
and yeah, you did get NWO Cena out of that, so there is that. Speaking of Bray, he's had a couple of cinematic ones. How about House of Horrors against Randy Orton at Payback that one year?
Yeah.
That was an interesting one. Seeing them kind of go into that like the creepy house, and it was like I think it was kind of like implied it was Abigail's house or whatever, and they end up setting it on fire and shit.
The coolest part about that entire thing is the pose of Randy when it's on fire.
Fire. Yep.
That
I
was
agree.
sick.
Yeah, that image is like just ingrained in my skull. I was like, yeah, that was pretty badass to say the least. Now let me tell you something that wasn't badass. What about the swamp match?
Oh Jesus.
That was fucking awful.
It was horrible.
That was probably, in my opinion, I think that's the worst. Well, I don't know. This is a bad one too. The Army of the Dead match, with the zombies and stuff with Damian Priest and the Miz.
Yeah, that wasn't great either.
That was pretty shitty. And then Eye for an Eye with Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins. That was just it was dumb. Fucking dumb.
It was dumb. That's a good word to describe it. It was just dumb.
Yeah. That was just you didn't need it. You knew it was like, come on, man, we know what the fuck's going on here.
Right.
It's just like you're not really like just don't even don't. You don't need to go there.
That match is like they were calling us stupid. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
It was like just an insult to like the entire audience, and it's like, in my opinion, and it's just like, with two great performers you put in that shit too.
Yeah.
I think that was the most insulting thing to me. One more. What about the Haunted House of Terrors match that they did at Halloween Havoc I think it was last year with Dexter Loomis and Cameron Grimes.
And I love both those guys.
I love both those guys. The match itself, I mean, it is what
Nobody
it is.
talks about it.
Nobody, exactly. You like.
So there you go.
If I didn't mention who the combatants were, you probably would have forgot about it and been like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I think that says it all right there.
No doubt.
All right, Mr. B-Roll, I hope you've been paying attention, my friend, because it is that time of the show. It is time for a pop quiz for you, my friend. This is going to be an easy one, though. It's going to be a layup, I think, for you. Because a lot of these characters we've been talking about tonight, they all hail from that scary place, Parts Unknown. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you a wrestler, and you're going to tell me if they're from Parts Unknown or not. Easy as that.
Ooh.
All right. First up, the Ultimate Warrior.
Yes.
Was he from Parts Unknown? That
Yes.
is correct. See, I gave you a layup.
That was good.
How about the Ugandan giant Kamala? Was he from Parts Unknown?
No.
That is correct. That's right, because I kind of gave it to you. Cause
You gave it
Ugandan
away.
Giant, yeah, so. Very nice. You're paying attention. You're listening, so that's good.
Trying to.
How about the Monster Abyss? Is he from Parts Unknown?
No. Yes. No.
So you sound like the Zodiac there, brother. So, yes, he is, or no, he's not?
Um.
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
Ha ha.
I'm gonna say no.
You're incorrect. He is from Parts Unknown. How about it's gotta be Kane? Where's Kane from? Is he from Parts Unknown?
No.
No, he is. He actually was billed from Parts Unknown.
Parts Unknown.
Yeah. How about the suicidal, homicidal, genocidal Sabu?
Sabu.
Was he from
No.
Parts Unknown? That is correct. He was not from Parts Unknown. From Bombay, Michigan, or Bombay, India, depending on like what time frame you're talking. But yeah, he's from Bombay nonetheless. How about the ECW icon, the Sandman? Is he from Parts Unknown?
No.
That is correct. Here's one for you. The Missing Link, who we talked about earlier tonight. Is he from Parts Unknown?
Yes.
That is correct. Good job. How about the guy you've been showing us a lot of tonight, the Boogeyman?
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
I knew it.
Yes.
Believe
No.
it or not, no. I believe he's billed from like some bullshit from Your Nightmares or some shit like that.
That's
is what
right.
it was. Yeah, but he is not technically from Parts Unknown. So
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
Phil, we're going to be seeing a lot of that next week too. Well done, sir. Though, Andre the Giant, was he from Parts Unknown?
That's a tough one.
He is a giant.
Maybe.
It's yes or no.
Yes.
No, he's from Grenoble in the French Alps.
The French Alps.
Yeah. And finally, another giant, Giant Gonzalez. Is he from Parts Unknown?
That guy sucked.
Terrible. One of the worst wrestlers of all time.
He's terrible.
I'm gonna say no.
No, he's from Parts Unknown.
Parts Unknown.
There you go. That was your pop quiz. So
You
did okay.
you
You
did
did
pretty
a-
well.
you didn't do too bad.
It was one of my better outings.
You started off
Yeah.
very strong. Hey, you started off very
Yes.
strong.
There you go. Well, another segment we like to do on our show here, real quickly. Let's talk about some fantasy warfare, and I got a matchup for you tonight. And it just so happens to have your boy in it. Who's gonna win, the Boogeyman or Papa Shango? Ooh, the Master of Voodoo or
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
for it? I was just like, I was waiting for you to do it. I guess because of that, we're gonna say the Boogeyman. No, I would say Papa Shango. That's who
I say Papa Shango via a curse
Yes, and a shoulder breaker too.
and a
But yes,
yeah.
loved his shoulder breaker. By the way, it was a sick
Yeah.
shoulder breaker. True story. When I would like play like WWF games on the Genesis, like Papa Shango was one of my go-to characters just for the shoulder breaker.
Nice.
There you go.
That's cool.
What say you,
you
Mr.
know-
B-Roll?
I mean, I would go with Papa Shango, for sure. But I do just want to remind you one more
I'm
time.
the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
So funny story. Like my wife, right when you did that, my wife opened up the door and scared the shit out of me. I was like, "Oh fuck,
He's here.
He's coming to get me."
Yeah.
So as we're gonna wrap things up here, gotta ask, scariest wrestler of all time. Who you think it is?
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
God damn
Why
it.
did I even ask you?
I'm done, I promise.
It is good though. It's a good rib. It's a good rib.
Is that your choice?
No, not me. I really like the scariest one to me. Oh man, I mean, the obvious answer is Taker. But I don't know. I kind of like it always stuck out to me. Just really, it just like with the look. I gotta go with this guy right here, Abdullah the Butcher. Man, Abdullah the Butcher was the scariest wrestler to me.
Yeah.
Just like for his just the look in the eyes and stuff. But Bray Wyatt's another one that's up there too. I just love what he's doing, man, and like I just know it's gonna get even crazier from here. But for me, I'm gonna say Abdullah the Butcher.
Solid. Like you said, pretty typical choice, The Undertaker. But I'm going to throw in at least an honorable mention too. We've talked about him, but we didn't talk about The Fiend very much. Now, The Fiend, when he would appear when the lights would go out, and he'd have someone in Sister Abigail, and you'd hear that screeching sound, and the zoom in would be on his mask. That was holy shit. And I'm like, I'm late 20s, and I'm like, holy shit, that is creepy.
Yeah.
He at least needs to get an honorable mention because The Fiend was terrifying.
I should rephrase The Fiend. Yeah, The Fiend definitely with the mask and everything.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like way creepy. The creepiest interpretation of Bray Wyatt, any Bray Wyatt character so far.
So
By
far,
far.
yeah.
What about you, B-Roll? Who do you think's the scariest?
For me personally, I'm saying Doink the Clown because I hate clowns.
Of war games. I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
You brought that
All
on
right.
yourself.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying Doink the Clown. I would give an honorable mention to like Mankind with like that leather face, like Hambone was talking about, in that boiler room and stuff. Like, yeah, I mean that's just,
Yeah.
and the Fiend as well. But for me personally, I'm going Doink the Clown because I hate clowns.
That's a good one, though.
Yeah.
Doink was super creepy. So.
Yeah, he was.
Well, hey, we've had a blast here tonight talking about some of the spookiest moments, wrestlers, and matches in all of wrestling history. And as we always like to do when we get down to the finish of our show, how about you give us one more last plug-a-palooza, Mr. B-Roll?
Really thought you were gonna hit the War Games one there, but that's okay.
I thought about it after all the damn times you've done the Boogeyman, but I was like, if I do that, he'll do Boogeyman again, so I was nice.
And then we're here longer, and yeah. All right, one last final plug-a-palooza. Got to mention one more time what we have going on at Cole TV this week. If you don't know what Cole TV is, that is me and Mr. XLJ, the OG's YouTube channel. If you aren't sick of our mugs, I guess, you can go see us, do more other crazy stuff. We do a lot more stuff than just wrestling. Links in my bio on TikTok. He also has it on his, he has the YouTube icon on his. So pretty easy to get to. And I will say this: we are getting so close to 100 subscribers. We really want to hit that before the end of the year.
And we're gonna do something really special if we do.
We are.
Don't know what it is, but we are. We're gonna do cartwheels naked in the street or something. I don't know.
Hey, there you go.
We're gonna do something fun though, nonetheless.
Yeah, we will. We will indeed. But yeah, you're definitely not going to want to miss the content we have coming out this week. Running it down real quick, we have Halloween Havoc reaction show on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going to have the Cole TV Spooktacular Halloween Special, second annual. You're not going to want to miss that. Thursday, you have the replay of this, and fingers crossed, on Friday, we'll get a little bit of a Chub Life
Halloween special.
We shall see indeed. And then also, we got to say, come back next week over here on the Twitch, on the Panda Wrestling Company Twitch channel for our exclusive Halloween party. And we want to invite you all along. If you want to join us, whether that just be in the chat or on the screen, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is message one of us and we send you a link. It's pretty easy. You can do it from your phone, tablet. Don't necessarily have to have a computer, but we want to invite you all to join us and hang out. And we've got a lot of fun things planned. We're going to play some games, and yeah, should be fun.
I love games. It's going to be awesome.
Fun. All right. And we also have to talk about our merch. We do have some merch, as well as Neep has some merch as well.
Of course.
We'd love for you to go check over any of the merch over at sweetdollfacecreations.com. Pretty sure Neep has his in his bio as well over on the TikTok. But yeah, go ahead. You're not only supporting us, you're supporting a small business, so we really appreciate it. Also, you found us here on the Panda Wrestling Company Twitch channel. We have shows for you 7 days a week. We were lucky enough to have Irish Neep join us tonight. He is from the Phenomenal 4 podcast, which airs every Thursday from 9 to 11 Eastern. I don't know what time that is West Coast. Are they like 2 hours behind us?
3.
3?
Yeah. But yes.
Yeah.
Always Thursdays. Yeah.
Yes.
Always on
every
Thursdays.
Thursday.
And no pun intended, but totally pun intended, they do a phenomenal job.
But
Thank you.
no, you guys got a killer show.
I appreciate that.
And we are also sponsored by a Rootless Coffee. Because it is a
damn
fine cup of coffee. Use code Panda Coffee to save 15% off all non-collabs. I just realized that's the first time I've said the code, so I did not do a good job.
dare you.
There you
But
go.
that's okay. If they watched it till the end, they now
They
know.
know. They know.
Yes.
They now know the code. Okay, did I miss anything?
I don't believe so. Neep, was there anything you wanted to plug?
Nah, just check me out at my handle right there on TikTok. Same Twitch channel Thursday nights. We have a lot of fun over there. And just shout out to you guys. I appreciate you having me on. I had a good time. And thank you for having me on. It was an honor.
Oh, it was all
Yes.
the honor was all ours, and we'd
Yes.
love to have you on again, good sir. And it's been
Anytime.
an awesome show, man. We've had fun talking about all the spooky moments in wrestling. And of course, tomorrow, don't forget Raw Russell with I can't speak B-roll. We're getting to the end of the show. Raw with Russell. Did I
Yes.
say that? Thank you. Yes.
Yep.
Where they'll be reacting to Monday Night Raw, which is interesting to watch them now because it's like Raw's good. So
It's good. Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
Old Papa H threw a curveball there, but it's all good. I'd rather it be good than a shitty Raw like it was for so many years. But
Yes.
hey, it is what it is. So, well, thank you again, sir, for joining us tonight,
Oh,
and
yeah.
thank you all for checking us out here on the Panda Wrestling Company Twitch channel. And like Mr. B-Roll says, don't forget to check out Halloween Week over on our YouTube channel, Cole TV, all this week. And don't forget to join us here next Sunday night for a brand new episode of Learn the Ropes, where we're having our Halloween party. And hey, I got a plug I got to put in here. I will actually be over as part of the Wrecking Crew next Saturday. We'll join up those guys with the good old-fashioned trivia night. So the professor as they call me, is going to be in. So that should be a fun night. So you
Cool.
guys will want to check that out. And the Wrecking Crew's got some other guests coming on there as well. So it's going to be a good time. But yeah. But thanks again, everybody, for checking us out tonight. And we hope everybody has a.
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
And on that note, we'll see you next week, folks.
Had to do it.